Hey everybody, how are you? Well, as you can see, I got my webcam going. I had this webcam for quite a while, but I could never make it work with the new computer. There was always some problem getting it going. But I finally figured out how to make it work, which is really a good thing because now I can make videos at home, which will be much more conducive to making, better quality videos. Walking around outside and in the noise and the bad lighting, it's really kind of difficult to make anything that's really worthwhile. Now, I'm still learning. It's still kind of a work in progress, so, be patient. But what I thought I'd do is start making a video or a series of videos talking about how my transition's gone. Because the truth is, I have made some mistakes over the last close to a year. I started transitioning on June 8th. That was in 2017. That was the first time I took hormones. So it's close to a year. And as I said, some errors have been made, some frustrations have cropped up. So I'm hoping that my experience might benefit other people, primarily people who are maybe just starting out or thinking about taking hormones in the next few months, and might benefit from hearing about the experience that someone else has gone through. I think I'm especially looking at people who may be a little bit older when they start out, when they're transitioning. I was a little older than a lot of people are. And the truth is, it can be done if things are done properly, if you have the right hormone regimen, if some other procedures and things are done, it can bring you a long ways towards your goal. And now when it comes to transitioning, there's really three different areas. There's the medical, legal, and social. And what I always try to do is make some progress. Always try to have something happening so I feel like I'm working towards my goal. Sometimes it might be medical, a couple of steps in that area. But if that kind of hits a wall or for some reason there's nothing else to do right at the moment, look at the legal side and see if there's something that can be done there, or look at the social side. So it's kind of complicated and everybody's transition is different. And the main thing you have to be aware of and thinking about is there's no perfect way to do it. There's no right way to do it. The best thing to do is do the things that you feel are best for you. Now, one of the things that I found pretty frustrating is that a lot of times I've noticed that I will say something in a video or I will say something on Facebook, and I'll get people writing back saying, "Oh, no, 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 you shouldn't say that. That's not right. You used the wrong word. I'm not this. I'm not that." Well, first of all, I'm not trying to say anybody else is anything. When I talk about something, I'm talking about myself. And I'm not the most politically correct person. I'm not always looking for exactly the right word to say that will offend the least people. So if people are bothered, I'm sorry about that. It's not my intent, but that's just the way I guess it'll be. Again, I think everybody has a right to describe their own transition and do things the way that they want to do. A lot of times I'll say something like, when I used to be a boy, and some people will say, well, no, wait a minute, you shouldn't say that. I was never a boy. I was always a girl trapped in a boy's body, or I was always a girl just not be able to present myself appropriately. Okay, that's fine. If someone else wants to think that, if that's right for them, go ahead and think that. But I use shorthand. I'll just say, hey, I used to be a boy. It doesn't mean that I didn't think I was always a girl. I didn't feel like I was always a girl or was never happy being in a boy's body or dressing in boys' clothes or being thought of as a boy. No, that doesn't mean I was happy with that. I wasn't happy at all. But I don't always spend a lot of time worrying about exactly the right word to say. So I thought I'd just talk briefly about that so people will understand that if I say something you don't like or use the wrong word, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to say that applies to you. I'm just saying, hey, that's the way I talk. Excuse me. So there's really three areas where you can work: legal, social, and medical. Now, the first thing that most people think about is the medical side. Most people are thinking, I got to get on hormones, which is true. If you really want to have a good transition, an effective transition, you're going to have to be on hormones at some point. At least the vast majority of people are. So I started out taking hormones on June 8th, 2017. I was on the estradiol pills and the spironolactone. Now, I was on the pills and on that regimen for about 3 or 4 months until on October 26th, I began taking injectable estradiol, which actually is much better. It's much more effective than the pills for a number of reasons that I'll go into in another video. But I was really happy to be able to switch from the pills to injectables because you're going to get the best transition and the best feminization with the injectable estradiol as opposed to the pills. Also, I stopped taking the spironolactone. I'm relying on higher levels of the estradiol to block the testosterone, which will work. And again, I'll talk more about that later on. So I started out with the medical side, as most people probably do. Then I did do some things in the legal area. I had my name legally, I went to court, had my name legally changed. I then went to the Social Security Department, had my Social Security number and name and gender changed. I then went and got a new driver's license. So all those things have been accomplished. And of course, there's always the process of going through all the other things that have to be changed, you know, your insurance and, you know, credit cards and things like that. The social side is sometimes maybe the most, it can be the easiest for some people, and it can be the most difficult. It just depends on the person. A lot of people are hesitant to go out dressed. I know I was, and still am to a certain point. What I like to do is join different organizations and try and be a part of as many different groups as I feel are good for me, and then try and take part in their activities and be involved as much as possible. A lot of it is just depending on how much time you have. A lot of it is depending on the type of groups that you are able to find. The best thing to do is don't be afraid to try different organizations. Just drop in, see how things work, because the groups are very different. A lot of groups are more clinical. Other groups are more fun-oriented. So you have to find the group that works best for you and just work, is the type of group that's doing what you're looking to do. So that's really what I wanted to start out talking about today, is just talk about the things that I plan to talk about in future videos, is really what my goal is here. And to get a little more comfortable talking on this webcam and making sure that I don't look down too much, which I don't think I have, which is good, and then go ahead and kind of go from there in the future. But thanks a lot. Appreciate you looking at the videos and watching, and you know, I hope you look forward to more in the future. So we'll see you later. Bye-bye.